Now, breaking news coming in from Germany since morning is that the Conservatives and the Social Democrats have finally reached an agreement which could lead to the formation of a new government for the country, which has held elections since last year but still without a government. How did they get there finally, and what will it mean for German foreign policy, especially its relationship with Ghana and Africa as a whole? Thomas Power is political correspondent with our partners, the DW. He has details. Thomas, good to have you once again. What went into this largely refreshing news?
A lot of work, that can be said for sure, Gifty. Both the Conservatives and the Social Democrats worked for many days on this deal. It's a deal that has nearly 180 pages and that touches on basically every aspect of Germany's both internal policies and also foreign policies. The details are slowly coming out and being mentioned to the public, but at least for Germany it is, as you say, refreshing news that there is now that deal between the Conservatives and the Social Democrats.
How soon, by this gesture, how soon will a government be formed in Germany?
Well, that's important that you mention this, because this agreement does not necessarily mean that Germany will have a new coalition government. This deal has now has to be put to more than 400,000 members of the Social Democratic Party. They have to say whether they approve that deal or they reject that deal. If they approve that deal, and this again could take a few weeks, we're talking of more than 400,000 people, then Germany would indeed have that new grand coalition. And it's important to stress, Gifty, that this would not be the first time that Germany has a grand coalition. In fact, Angela Merkel has had 2 grand coalitions. In other words, 8 out of the 12 years that she's been Chancellor, she has ruled with the Social Democrats.
Right. What then does this mean for German foreign policy, especially the country's relationship with Africa?
Those who expect radical changes probably won't get that. It is more about continuity. Although obviously the parties involved have said that it won't be just the same as usual, but you can expect certain continuity. These are 2 parties that know each other very well, and it does seem that there will be a specific focus on Germany's foreign policy, in particular Germany's relationship to Europe. It seems that the Social Democrats will get the foreign policy post, and they have clearly stated on various occasions that for them a strong relationship in the European Union will be particularly important, and obviously then as a European Union then work abroad in some of the deals that the European Union might have. Another aspect that could be particularly important for Africa is development aid. There has been indications, though we still have to read the exact chapter on that, that Germany could also increase its development aid. That was a news item that was presented earlier today, but again we're still waiting for exact confirmation on how that will be carried out.
So how did they announce this breaking news? I mean, was it with a lot of excitement, or were there some sort of reservation that you could see if you were watching them, for example, on TV?
Well, just imagine this. The negotiators, both from the Conservative side and the Social Democrats, had been talking for nearly 24 hours non-stop. This went all through the night here in Germany, and in the morning the news slowly started to come out that finally a deal had been agreed. Originally the deal was supposed to be finalized on Sunday, but then on Monday and on Tuesday negotiators said they still needed time to discuss some key details, for example work contracts or changes to Germany's health system. Those are areas that were particularly difficult to find a compromise, because in particular the Social Democrats wanted some clear change there. They believe that that the current policies are unfair with many Germans, so that's probably why it took so long. And there is certainly a sigh of relief here in Germany that there's at least a coalition deal. Let's not forget that the elections in Germany were in September, so we're talking of more than 4 months since Germany held those federal elections, more than 4 months where the country has been without a stable new government.
How have Germans reacted to this latest development?
Well, they were certainly losing a bit of patience. That was something that you could clearly see here in Germany. So from that perspective, it is a welcome sign that there's at least an agreement. But not everyone believes that a new version of the Grand Coalition would be the right path for Germany. Those who wanted, for example, more clear change instead of continuity will be probably disappointed by the fact that Germany has preferred this path now, or that the parties involved have preferred this Grand Coalition. That is still something to be seen, how they will react to the actual contract, if you will, the nearly 180 pages. That's something that we still have to find out, but we can clearly say that for now, Germans were certainly losing a bit of patience. They wanted to see a clear, stable government, and not many are particularly happy that it means a lot of continuation, that there's another grand coalition, in particular those who felt that there had to be more concrete changes in areas like investment or education or healthcare. Well, you name the area, those who wanted more change than what we're getting now.
Well, I'm wrapping up with you, Thomas, but I'm thrilled to find out how journalists or correspondents like yourself, especially political correspondents like yourself, have felt about the news. I mean, does it bring you a sigh of relief as well as it gives Germans?
It has certainly been an exciting few days here in Germany if you work as a political correspondent. It has also meant a lot of waiting in the different party headquarters for comments from the politicians or from the news that we just heard today. It is certainly important to mention that this uncertainty in Germany in the last few months has been met also with a lot of international interest of those countries who work closely with Germany and who'd like to find out what the situation is and why there is so much uncertainty. So certainly when you work as a political correspondent, and in particular as a political correspondent internationally, this is a very interesting and a very important moment to be working here as a correspondent.
Thomas, thank you very much for that update. Thomas Power is a political correspondent with our partners, DW, bringing us up to speed on what's happening. So, well, all things being equal, very soon Germany should have a government. Of course, they've crossed the most important hurdle, it appears. So hopefully we will know whether or not there's going to be more aid, as Thomas is saying, for Africans or for Ghana, etc. We'll get to know along the line. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dopia.